Hello, everyone. Former linebacker Stephen Tulloch here for your Detroit Lions. I'm excited to be here today. It's March. It's reading month, and I'm excited to share one of my favorite books. It's called The Little Linebacker, Story of Determination. I wrote this book about 5 years ago, reflecting on my life as a kid and some of the obstacles I had to overcome, whether it was my grades, me being undersized, people telling me I couldn't do certain things, and how I use it as motivation to push through life and attack my goals and how I used it during my 11-year playing career and transitioning into entrepreneurship, now owning and operating Circle House Coffee. But this book is, whether you're young or old, can definitely relate to. And if people have told you you can't do certain things, or you might feel discouraged about certain things, that you can do whatever it is you put your mind to, as long as you have the right attitude, the right people around you, the work ethic, number one, and determination to see that process through. So I'm excited about sharing this book with you today, and hopefully you enjoy it. Stephen ran in from the backyard to find his mom bustling around the kitchen. He was always playing outside with a football. If he wasn't, he was daydreaming about being a professional football player. Something really big for a little kid to think about, and something that seemed possible only in his dreams. As if his mom knew what he was thinking, she smiled and said, "Dream bigger dreams, Stephen. Tomorrow will be a big day." Stephen would go to his first Little League football practice. So this is me in the kitchen with the football, my dog Nash, Mia, always playing, and my mom always feeding me fruits and veggies to keep me strong. And Stephen raced over to Coach Pep after practice. "Do we have practice again tomorrow, Coach?" he asked eagerly. "Stephen, you have the energy of an entire football team. We only play once a week," the coach told him. "Come back and I'll teach you how to use that strength to play the game." Stephen walked away, kicking the dirt. He was ready to go and didn't want to wait an entire week until his next practice. So this is Coach Pep Suarez, my mentor and father figure, even to this day. This is me upset about not being able to practice this week and having to wait a whole week. So I was kind of upset about that. Back at home, his mom said, "Learning something new takes time. Listen to your coach. You'll pick it up. Remember, son, slow and steady wins the race," she added. My mother always give me words of encouragement, always give me wisdom, and there goes Mia sleeping under my mom, always sleeping. So Stephen came up with a plan. After school, he would round up his neighborhood friends to play football here, there, and everywhere. Then, when he played with his team, he would put endless energy to work to win the game a few years later. So when I didn't have football practice, I would gather the neighborhood kids and we'd play in the streets, the parks, flag football, tag, whatever it is, just so I can learn the game more and get better on my skills. Stephen had to take a math test. He couldn't help but to look outside and dream about the big game coming up. Before he could finish the test, the bell rang. When the teacher passed the test back, Stephen squinched at all the red marks. The girl next to him looked at his test and made a face. Maybe she thought he wasn't smart enough, Stephen worried. He knew the answers, but it was hard to focus. Like his mom always said, he had to keep his grades up to play football. So time to time, I would daydream and not focus as much on schoolwork, but more on football. And my mom always told me if I didn't have good grades that I couldn't play football. So things had to change and I had to get better at schoolwork. On the weekends, Stephen's mom took him to work with her. He liked the nursing home, especially seeing Mr. Loshvich, who Stephen looked up to. Mr. Loshvich was there a lot visiting his mom. Stephen told him what happened at school. Mr. Loshvich patted him on the back. "A few bad grades are no reason to quit trying, Stephen. Study harder. Remember, practice makes perfect." So I'd visit my mom at the nursing home time to time, and Mr. Loshvich and I would play cards. He would always be concerned about my schoolwork and how to make myself better at school and what I had to do. And so he was a great mentor in my life, even to many years, and just a great man, and I look up to him greatly. So Stephen studied harder. Instead of playing cards the next few visits, Mr. Loshvich quizzed him. Stephen had to work extra hard to focus and memorize the skills, but he did it. During the next math test, a group of kids were playing flag football outside, but Stephen focused on his test instead. Stephen's test came back with a much better score. "Hard work pays off," he whispered to himself a few years later. So Mr. Loshvich would pay for tutoring classes for me, quiz me, bought my first computer, and because of that, My grades came back with much better scores, and I was able to play football. Stephen was picked last for his team in his high school gym class. This is crazy considered. He's been playing football for 10 years now and played well. He wanted to be chosen first so he could lead the defense. Stephen's best friend, John, looked at him. What's wrong? I was picked last. I'm not going to play. John pulled Stephen aside. Man, this is no reason to give up the game. Keep playing and be part of the team. Remember, sticks in the bumble are unbreakable. So this is me in high school. Wasn't always picked first. Didn't always get to play when I wanted to. But John, number 88, was a high school teammate of mine, a good friend of mine. Passed away from cancer, but just a hero of mine, a person who I looked up to greatly. Had a big heart. Definitely miss him. So Stephen kept playing. He wasn't always chosen first and didn't always play the position he wanted, but he was a good teammate. And it made him a better player a few years later. So though I didn't get to always pick the position that I want, I always get chosen first, I became a leader of my team. And as you can see here, we huddled up and we found a way to come together and win the games. Stephen sat in the locker room after a big win for his college team. He overheard some scouts talking about him. He's undersized. He won't make it in the pros. Stephen felt as if he'd been hit with a ton of bricks. He looked up at a poster next to his locker. Stephen played the game long enough to believe that anything is possible for him. He could, he would, end of story. So during one of my games, college, some NFL scouts came in and would say, he's undersized. Can he play at the next level? And it was kind of discouraging, but I knew who I was and what I stood for. And there was a sign in the locker room that says, you can, you will, end of story. And that's how I believed, and that's what took me to the next level. In a loud crowd, full stadium with his mom in the stands, Stephen, captain of the defense, paused the play and his teammates line up. When the ball was thrown, Stephen intercepted and ran it back for a touchdown. The crowd went wild. Stephen was a star of the game. So one of my games in the NFL, I had an interception with my mom in the stands watching me and took it back for the game-winning touchdown. We won the game. So this was an amazing moment in my life and something I cherish even to this day. Stephen made his dreams come true. He worked hard, he studied hard, he was part of the team, and he never stopped believing in himself. Today, thanks to the love and support of his mom, Mr. Loshbich, and friends along the way, Stephen inspires others to dream bigger dreams. He uses his good fortune to pay it forward to other children and families. So as I transitioned from NFL player, playing in the NFL for 11 years, to a philanthropist and understanding that good fortunes come back for blessing other people, I started my foundation in 2007, the Stephen Tulloch Foundation, to help underprivileged kids, women with breast cancer, in a wide variety of things, to pay it forward to help people in need. Tell these tips for kids. Number 1, always listen to your parents. Number 2, eat your fruits and veggies. Number 3, study hard in school. Number 4, be a good teammate. Number 5, never give up. Number 6, hard work pays off. The Stephen Tulloch Foundation. This foundation helps assist underprivileged kids, youth, with opportunities to be successful. Mr. Tulloch's goal is to supply youth with the essentials to build self-esteem, establish their goals, and help unlock their potential. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did. I challenge you to read your favorite book today. Let's help tackle reading across America. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. This is Stephen Tulloch here. Go Lions.